Well, I kind of want to know what your podcasting journey's been like.
Oh.
How's your studio set up?
We kind of just chat. We don't set anything up. We show up, and it is all done.
It took us 5 years to get to that point. And we still have to kind of set it up. Damn it.
So you guys, you have like a studio that you go to?
Uh-huh.
It's actually a store.
Oh,
in Baton Rouge.
good call.
Yeah, it's called Cards and Culture. It's
Okay.
like, the store itself is like a really sick setup. So
Yeah.
that in itself is just a nice backdrop. But yeah, we walk in and we basically just talk to each other, and then Anthony helps just like smooth things over. But
Yeah, he was a LSU baseball player, so that's
Okay.
kind of how we first got introduced, and he loves the game of beach volleyball.
Okay.
So, yeah, we don't really do much, honestly, other than just
That's
chat
the way
with
to
each
go.
other.
That's
It's
the
it's
best
so
way to do
great.
it.
Oh my god!
Isn't it so funny that just chatting in front of microphones, one, it's so fun to do, even though you guys spend like 23 and a half hours a day together. But then it's just like, oh, when we're podcasting, it's still really fun to do. And I can't really explain it. Like, I love just like, we've been doing it for 7+ years now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it just gets more fun every time.
yeah.
yeah.
Whose idea was it to start it?
Oh, I don't think it was either. I think
it was
they came. I
probably
think Anthony
Anthony
came to us and was like, "Hey, do you guys want to do this?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Because I mean, we have basically it's just us talking about our stories from like trips and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and our families just love that stuff.
They want to know everything about
They
our
really do.
lives.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, sure, we'll go talk about it, and then perfect. Here's a link to what we did this past trip.
Right.
We're like, we love this.
Yeah.
And I bet your families love it because being from the Dakotas,
South Dakota.
Yeah.
Yep.
South Dakota and Louisiana, I can't imagine that they are just like, oh, we're going to go to Switzerland and then Vienna and then Poland and Portugal. We're going to pop back in Chicago for a second. And then we're going to go to Doha and China. And then I forgot we had a trip to Brazil. And then we got to come back. And they're probably like, who is my daughter? Where'd they go?
Yeah.
It's probably
Yes.
fascinating for them.
I mean,
Oh.
I think both of our parents, none of them have really traveled other than Mexico and Jamaica or the Caribbean islands or
Right.
something. But they've never been to Europe. They've never
Left the
actually-
continent,
Yeah.
North America.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Which
my
is-
yeah,
That is
my parents
crazy.
for sure have not.
My parents really haven't either.
Do they have passports?
They do.
Yeah.
They go to Mexico.
They
Okay.
came. My parents and her mom did Montreal,
Okay.
so it was a nice little teaser.
Yeah.
But my parents are booked and everything for Paris, so it's like that's the
Hey.
first big one.
Hey, and congratulations. We just learned that you have all your
Wow.
finishes you needed.
Yeah,
Congratulations
we
on that.
recently found that out too.
That'll be
Crazy.
quite a first trip going
Yeah,
to Paris to watch your kids play in the Olympics.
That's a really good point. Wow. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like all my siblings. Like there's a big group.
It's gonna actually. You guys should have someone follow them with the camera.
I want to do
It's
that.
like this
Wait,
family
that's a
that's never
great
been
idea.
to Europe, and they go to Europe, but at the
also-
Olympics,
They need
It's
a.
like-
They need a.
it's
vlog
already
of
such a
that.
zoo.
And it's also so sad because we probably like won't be with them to see some of the stuff because I
Yeah,
plan
no,
on like
it's too
trying to make them
distracting.
like itineraries of like things to go do and stuff. But it's sad like I won't get to see their experiences.
Yeah.
But yeah, having someone film them, I'm like I would love to watch
there
that
you go.
to see.
And then
what
you don't
they're
have
like.
to worry about it. You don't have to
Yeah.
feel your FOMO. That's actually like a huge thing, which
have
like
FOMO.
Sean and them will have the talks with you guys, but it's like it's so distracting having your family there. Not in a negative way, but you want to be with them.
Yeah.
But you're so like, there's so many things to do. There's so many things to focus. The media, the pressure, blah, blah, blah. It's whatever you make it. But like USA Volleyball will go out of their way to like actually take care of them and like give you a
Stress-free.
a family lead. That's like, they call it something like that, where like, hey, we're going to put dad in charge of everything. Scott's going to tell him stuff that he's in charge of so that we don't have to go to you guys and ask you to get them tickets because you got to worry about making sure they're taken care of.
Yeah.
So there's a whole science to it that you guys will learn.
And I
Kinda
think
wild.
your dad should have his own personal videographer.
Frito?
Which I said essentially was like, Frito, we need shots of my
Family vlog.
I can only imagine the outfits he's going to come up with because now he's got months to plan. It's going to be insane, and you're not going to be able to miss him.
He's laying them out on the bed for your mom right now.
Oh
What do you
my
think,
gosh.
honey?
Well,
How's
he
this
was,
look on
he was
camera?
complaining about flying, and I was like, oh, You think you're too big to fly? I was like, I'm 6'4", and they make planes for 5'8" people. Like, yeah, it sucks to fly.
Yeah.
I said, I think you can get over it for this one.
And one flight, like, you cannot complain to a beach volleyball player about flying.
No.
Yeah.
Because I remember Mel put up a thing, like I forget what the app's called, that tracks your
Flighty.
flights.
Flighty.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
and Mel
cool.
put it up, and I was like, God bless your heart. 'Cause
Yeah,
it
ours
like
was only
83,000 miles?
we were in the air for 12 days, and hers was like 16 days. I was
But
like,
I feel like she's flying Canada, LA to the tournaments.
Oh,
Canada,
what is
LA
this
to
app? Flighty?
Flighty.
and you
It
track.
maps it out.
Yeah,
all
you
of your
literally just put
flights.
your flights in,
Oh.
and it's a very cool.
I want to check
cool
that
thing.
out.
It also says like
It's
how
honestly
long,
sad.
how many delays.
Yeah, right.
We were like delayed for like 21 hours, like
I
total.
wanted to say it was a
Last
couple
year,
days.
yeah, it was.
We
wild.
should keep like what you're doing with the whoop, where you had the players like seeing who could have the highest whatever whoop rate.
Yeah. Oh.
Like we could see
Yeah. It's
who's
gonna be
spending the most
insane.
time in the air.
Yeah.
I was pretty good last year.
That'd be a tight competition.
Yeah.
Because you got out. I mean, you played a lot of.
You don't want to do too well, because if you do well, then you get to pick and choose what events to go to. If not, like me, you just have to go to everything.
Yeah, because we were just talking about that. How there's 10 events in 14 weeks, from Doha in March to Ostrava, the end of Olympic qualifying, and you guys, you're sitting pretty. Where you're gonna go? There's like 5,
Four
Four
or
elites?
five, 4 or 5. we
4
don't know.
elites,
Yeah.
and then me trying Kamer.
Back on the
We're
road,
gonna
baby.
be crushing Flighty.
Damn. I wish I had
We're
a
gonna win
life.
Flighty.
I need a lifetime flighty.
Seriously, that would be
I
almost
wonder
depressing
if
to
they
look
can do
at.
that. They
Yeah.
go back that far.
Yeah, I mean, once you store it for the year, it like keeps.
Yeah.
So
Once you
unfortunately,
start on
Yeah.
it, but I'm already like
you can go back to all of your emails, your confirmation emails, and put them in.
back from college and when I was a kid. Yeah.
You know what blew my mind is that before I came here, I was just doing a cursory skim of the BVB to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I forgot that you guys were in qualifiers last year.
Certainly.
It's like, you
We
got to
were.
be kidding me that
Whoa.
the number 2 ranked team in the world, the World Tour Finals champions, the World Championship bronze medalists, started in qualifiers and went to 3 in your first qualifying match against Sav and Tony.
Yep.
That blew my mind. What a year.
Yeah.
What a year is so right. We talked about, we ended the year in Brazil. Well, we had the Doha finals, but
Right.
we ended like Olympic qualification point tournament wise. In Brazil, we got 4th place, and we were so mad and so disappointed in ourselves. And we thought that we just ruined our
We were
whole
like,
year.
our season was a failure. Like literally,
I'm
after
not
Brazil,
joking. Both of us thought that. We couldn't talk. We were so sad.
And then we went, and she like pulled up our like goals from the year, and it was like, oh my goodness, we hit that. There was like only one. We didn't want to finish below 5th, and we got 9th in Tepic.
Once. Out of the qualifier. And
Yeah.
you lost 3 to Anna Patricia and Duda.
Yeah, poor
Shame on you.
matchup. But it really was. It was wild, like looking back after that and being like, oh my goodness, like it was a pretty successful year. Like, holy crap.
And then a little dessert at the end of the year.
Yeah,
That was
World Tour
insane.
Finals. Nice little
that was
little
rough.
paycheck.
I hope you didn't spend it all in one
Call
place.
that dessert.
Dessert.
My dad's Christmas present, of course.
I love it when he messaged me. He's like, what's the prize money for that, Trav? I just want to know what kind of Christmas gift I should be taking you. A shaving kit or first class tickets to Paris.
Right.
Like, Mr. Kloth, if she gets you a shaving kit, we got some questions for Taryn.
I think Drew even put in our USA group text. He was like, "Oh,
Can't wait to see my Christmas present now."
Got a lot better."
So then, should we be asking about Christmas? How did it go? Are we just joking about this, or is it like the O-line thing with the quarterbacks where
I think that I
buy
just
their
learned
O-line.
about that last year. How the quarterbacks give you like the coolest gifts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if we're on that level yet.
Yeah.
yeah, it's still beach volleyball.
Yeah, may need like 5 more World Tour
right,
finals
exactly.
wins.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it was a good Christmas for them.
All right. Good. Love that.
Why do you think that 4th in Uberlandia stung so much? Is it because of the success that you had?
Oh, the 4th and the last one. Yeah,
was
Joe
that Uberlandia?
Joe Pessoa.
Joe Pessoa,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
Why did it sting so much? Because losing always sucks.
That. And 4th is a tough one because it's 2 in a row.
Yeah. I think whenever we leave a tournament and we are not honestly at the top of the podium, we are not happy. But who is happy going into a tournament and then not winning? But then it takes you half a second. You have to step back, get perspective, and be like, all right, you literally can't win every single tournament. So we kind of find the positives and then move on from there.
Yeah, but I think it showed, like, we 100% are so, like, tournament by tournament that we, like, couldn't even take the whole season. So, yeah, after getting that fourth, it was like, gosh, this is terrible. But I think it was mainly not because it was fourth. I think it was how we played.
Yeah.
That made us so angry because it was, like, so crazy windy and it was, like, swirly. It wasn't even, like, a constant, like, the wind here right now, very much, like, 20 miles an hour, but it's like a constant crosswind, and that is so much easier than just like swirliness
for sure.
And just the way we handled that, I think we were both like just so angry about that. Not necessarily like, yeah, fourth does suck, but I think the majority of why we were like, this is so bad is because the way we played.
We played
It was
horribly.
what led you to taking fourth more than the fourth itself.
Yeah.
Like if you play well and lose, then you're like, okay, you're gonna have to live with that, but
It's a little bit more palatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like usually the amount that you're pissed off is all determined by whether you played to your own standards or not, usually, right?
Absolutely.
Even when you win sometimes, you're like, oh, we squeaked it out, but
Yeah.
like, damn, that was ugly. You're like, I'm supposed to be happy right now, but I'm not.
Yeah.
That was me in the
100%
Swiss
agree.
game. Do you remember that? I got just pelted with serves, and we lost like 21-8. I'm being dramatic. The first set, and
I actually don't think you were dramatic. I don't think we got
maybe we got 9. I don't know. But then it was the next game we had won, and then we went to 3, and then somehow came back and won. And I have never been more angry and happy all at the same time because it's like, yeah, we won, but that was horrible, but we won, and you can make it positive or negative.
Was that Nina and Tanya?
Yeah.
You guys, you always have really fun matches with them. I always, because you and Nina, I think, are two of the like highest volume diggers in the world. So I was telling Rich, because we were going to commentate one of your matches against them, and we were already behind schedule. And Rich was like, maybe a 2-setter will bring us back. I was like, Rich, if this is a 2-setter, it's still an hour. Trust me. And it was still like an hour. And he was like, you called that. It's just hard to put a ball down on you guys.
They're a very good team, and their service pressure is unreal.
Insane.
It's top notch.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, what do you think? Because you guys had, I think, 3 medals in your rookie season, and then you had 8 last year, I think, and you had 8 top 5s to 11. So you guys made a huge jump from your rookie to your sophomore season. What do you attribute to that? There's a lot of variables there, but it was a substantial jump.
I think for me, the mental side, it wasn't even anything just like say what we were doing in training. I think it was literally just mentally like having a full season like under our belt of like knowing just like what to expect and how to approach the international side of things. That made the difference for me, and just knowing that we were capable of basically being successful and just having that confidence. Whereas like the year prior, I think it was just like, oh my goodness, we got into the tournament, like here we go. Whereas this year was way more like, no, we're going in this tournament, we're going to win this tournament. And that was just like the mindset, and mentally could like be there.
I would say mine is way more experience. I still, every single day, I'm like, I'm learning so much still, and I really need to, and I'm just trying to get better and see the different things that are happening, and I'm like, wow, that was great to learn. 4 years later, here we go. But, yeah.
Are there any big particular learning moments that stand out from last year?
I'm not even joking, every single game. Or Kristen she says something that is very common knowledge to somebody that's been playing the game for 10 years, or even if you play juniors. But since I kind of skipped all of those things, and I was like, I guess I'll try. The basic knowledge for juniors is still new to me sometimes. And just like small things.
How about this past like week in practice? You knew I was going to say that?
Yeah.
You want to tell it?
No.
Someone's got it.
It was literally like just working like a lot on especially her left side, just getting feet around the ball, like being open the whole time. Like don't limit your ability to like hit angle and like big angles. And she's like was hitting these like cut shots basically, but at like 60%. Like it wasn't even angle swing, it wasn't necessarily a cut shot, it was like the in-betweener, but it was like that's gonna score every time.
Yeah.
And she was like, which I had been like really telling her, like, Taryn, if you can just do this, like years prior, and it finally like clicked in practice, and she was like, oh my gosh, it's like I can do this. It's like, Taryn. I was like, yes, but also like I've been telling you that.
She does get so mad. You get so mad, but you're so happy all in the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. Oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do it. It's so cool.
It's like a
It's so
cut
funny.
hit, like
Yeah,
a cuff,
just a sharp-
6%
yeah.
cuff. Yeah, got it.
Just like high hand the ball, it gets to the ground fast, and it's like an angle that like the defender, you have to be like standing
for sure.
there to
Yeah.
get. I've been telling her, I'm like, Taryn, I will not dig that if you hit it. And
It's usually a pretty good sign.
Yeah,
If Kristen can't dig it,
yeah,
no
right.
one's
and then
digging
I'm like, it's gonna open up your high line so
Yeah.
much. She was like, oh my gosh, I get it.
Is that so funny?
Volleyball.
It's hilarious. I'm discovering this now that I'm working more like as a coach, where the messenger is way more important than the message. Where like I feel like I was like, try, maybe it'll be easier if you pass a little bit lower for like a year. Then you
Right.
come back from Florida and you're like, yeah, Nick told me I should pass a little lower. And like, I think he's right. Now I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's what she does. She throws her hat like that too.
And then he gave me homework to watch you pass.
Oh,
I did.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah,
Come to
that
Louisiana.
would be
You can
easier.
come train with us.
I was making it go high. Then Cam can get under it and walk under. I was like, but that's way harder to make it land in the right spot every time than just, I can just boop it over there. And yeah, it's been making my life much easier.
Yeah. So I assigned him Kristen Nuss passing homework.
Oh.
There you go.
And he was like, is there, like, what tournament do you think I should watch? Is there one in particular? I'm like, nah, she's nails in all of them. Trust me.
well, I literally have to. Oh, we have a visitor.
There's a bug.
Okay, Cinderella.
I love the costume.
It's okay. She said there's a bug, so we gotta freak out.
It's a big moment.
Frito, you got this? Got it. Get the bug.
Yeah, we didn't bring our kids, so you got an eye
yes.
out.
Perfect. Perfect.
All right.
Cinderella.
Let's see. What were you watching? Spider-Man? Okay.
I love it.
Frito can help you.
Frito's a man of many talents. Wears many hats for the pod.
We had no kids when we started this pod. So
Yeah.
I'm glad our listeners could grow with us here. No interruptions, but very bad quality audio.
Take
I
your
love
pick.
it. I
Now
love it.
we've got the full upgrade though.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I love having it's like now we have sort of like an annual schedule. Like you guys pop in at pretty much every February for your rainy and cold California winter training
I
camp.
love it.
And
And
it
then-
seems like a completely different storyline and team every time we talk. First
Yeah.
time it's like, we don't know what we're doing out here. We've never even traveled before. What's it going to be like? We're like, it's all right, you'll be fine. Like, I think we have a shot, maybe. We're like, you'll probably just end up right where you belong. And then the next year is like, all right, apparently we're good on the world tour. And now we're just having these veteran talks over here where I'm like listening to you guys like, damn, I got to steal. I'm studying your film.
Man, what's next year
Keeps
gonna
changing.
be?
Jeez.
Man.
It does, just talking to you guys, it feels like you've been around for a long time. And I think just because you became such a presence last year, what does it feel like for you guys? Like, do you feel sort of travel worn and experienced at this point, or are you still like pretty bright-eyed about it?
I think still more bright-eyed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still travel.
Yeah.
Towards the end of last year,
I
definitely.
will say, yeah.
We were like, we have to travel again. We were like, oh no. Whereas like the year prior, we would have been like, another trip. Woo,
Yeah.
here we
Yeah.
go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
So-
we realize how lucky we are that we do get to see all of the world. And as soon as you say it to literally anybody else, all of my friends that are working 9 to 5s in the same exact office every single day.
Right down
9,
the
10
street from your
hours.
high school,
Yeah.
which
and-
is right down the street from your middle school.
Yeah. And they're like, what in the world is your life? And I'm like, oh yeah, we're just going here and here. And to us, it's so normal because it's like, oh yeah, we have a tournament in Doha next week that we have to get ready for. And they're like, did you just hear your sentence?
Right. I think the tricky part, like psychologically, comes when you start repeating, right? Because you're like, I already been there. It's not like, excuse me, you don't get to repeat that. Like, oh, now I get to go put a pin in that on the map anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what's frustrating to me. I'm like, can I at least like check off a new box every once in a while?
Yeah.
But like I've been on tour so long, it's super rare.
Yeah.
Last year I got Thailand and Paris, so that was a plus. But like two new places is like a big deal for me nowadays.
Yeah.
Do you find it cool that because you've been going to a lot of places that you know where you're going in them? Because I thought it was cool when I went back
I like
Pema.
fresh. I like fresh
Oh, you
stuff.
like new
I'm ADD,
places?
you know. I'm like, I want everything to be new and fresh.
Yeah. Because I thought it was cool when I went back to Itapema and I knew a couple food places, and then back to Tlaxcala. I was like, oh, like this is my favorite cafe. The Wi-Fi is good here. This is a good spot. This one no one knows
There can be
about.
some comfort to it because you're like, I need my go-to right here and just get dialed in. You're like, I'm going to go to that cafe or that restaurant. And yes, but I'd rather go to a new place.
I like when there's a solid mix. So you can have an experience, but then the next tournament you go to, you're super comfortable. And you know where you're going to go.
That's
and
fair.
you know what hotel you're going to be at and what's walkable and how you're going to get there and how far away from the airport.
Yeah, bad surprises are not fun. Where you're like, oh, this hotel is absolute trash and the food's terrible and now we have to find new food.
Yeah.
Versus like, we were prepared for that. We know the restaurant down the street.
Yeah.
We're going to order those extra extenders on our bed and we're going to like get new pillows for $5 down the street. You know.
Yeah. That was, I mean, Joe Pacello was like, we had no idea that air conditioner was like the energy saver one. So anytime you left, the air would shut off. So you just walk back in and you're just like, it's a sauna in here.
Yeah.
And that was really hard, especially because we were in like a heat wave,
Right.
like while in Brazil.
That was when
And it was
the fan
hot.
at the Taylor Swift concert died because
no
it was
kidding.
so hot. That's when we were
That's
playing there.
Wow.
Actually,
Okay.
as we flew in, there were like wildfires, like
Oh, jeez.
right around
was-
the airport. I was like,
it
Taryn,
was-
are you
I had no
seeing
idea.
this?
It was very
was-
warm.
But it wasn't like,
It was Louisiana warm
yeah.
in the summer.
But yeah, it was hot in the hotel rooms. Like, it was like, I feel like I
No,
just
that's
sweat
the
the
worst.
entire time.
Yeah. If you can't go back to your own little oasis at the end of the day when you're just crushed, you're like,
Yeah.
I can't go anywhere. There's
And then
nowhere
aren't
to
you
go.
just like mad? Like when I'm hot, I get angry. And I'm like,
And they also kept changing when the dinner would start. It'd be like, okay, dinner starts at it started like 8.
Yeah,
We're like,
right.
Why is
You're
it
already-
so late?
You're like, it's 6 o'clock and I'm
Yeah.
starving and jet lagged and hoping to go to sleep at 7:45.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, 2 hours.
but it's always the Americans. We're always
Yeah,
the
we're
first
all-
ones
yeah.
to dinner.
But it started at 7, but one night they were like, surprise, it's not going to start till 8, and they didn't like announce it or
Right.
anything.
And she was coming back from a
I
drug
was
test.
so
and
hungry.
She was so mad.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna chop my head off, and I was like,
Well, one,
don't
I
kill
had,
the
to, I had to
messenger.
do a drug test at, like in the porta potty at night with
Oh,
the woman
God.
just shining a flashlight on
Oh,
me.
no.
I was like, this is so uncomfortable. I was like, this is awkward.
Drug tests and porta potties are probably top 5 worst.
I've never
parts of
done
beach
one.
volleyball. Really?
No porta.
New experience.
Ugh.
Hopefully, you know.
Oh
if I
my
get
They're
lucky.
not fun. They're,
I feel like it's way different for guys.
Oh yeah,
That's
I
actually
kill
a really
I
good
kill
point.
drug tests.
That was.
I feel like all the girls are like waiting in line. They're
Oh
all
my
sitting there.
gosh.
I'm like, I'm ready. And just bing bang out of there.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
I
the
wish.
experiences
Yeah.
you build up.
and they
Yeah.
pick the worst times to give you a drug test.
Yeah, she had one. You had to go like back alley in Tlaxcala.
It was
Jesus.
the
was like-
scariest thing. And Kristen's like,
In
"Oh, do you want me to come?"
Tlaxcala?
And I was like, "No, I'm good. Please come. No, I'm good." And they took me around this back alleyway. It was deserted. There was nobody. And then they took me through a room.
You're like,
back
let me see
to
your
another
badge
room.
again.
Yes. I actually thought that I was being stolen. I was so scared. And then I walk into this room and there's like 5 or 6 guys and they're all just sitting at a table staring at me. And they're like, the bathroom's right there. And they made me leave the door like kind of open. And then they sent the girl in with me. And
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
tough.
I'm going to be gone.
Yeah.
If they're gonna pick one of you to steal, they're gonna pick the one who can fit in an oversized duffel.
But she's way faster than me. So like she could run away. I'm screwed. But they're also probably going to choose the 5'6" person
They're
to
gonna
pack
take
up
me.
away. Yeah,
Take me.
probably
Kristen,
bigger than
I
all of them.
remember the first time we had you on was when you were at LSU, maybe even before you guys had started playing together.
Yeah.
And you said, I love doing it for my 5'6"ers out there. Is there like an extra little bit of pride in just being able to do it, being one of the smallest players? You might be the smallest player on the world tour at that level.
Yeah, I definitely think I always, when I started my pro career, I was I really want to inspire others, just because, I still remember when I would watch AVP Sundays and I would see Misty and I'd immediately look up her height and be like, she's 5'8" or 5'9". There was every single defender I looked up, even I was like, oh, she looks a little shorter, it'd be 5'8". Gosh darn it, there are no 5'6" people out there. And I do live to I love getting those messages from the moms or the girls who are you have inspired me to keep going, and that just is so heartwarming, and something I do have a little chip on my shoulder of I got to go out there and do it for all the 5'6"ers out there who are watching.
Does it? Because it drives me crazy. I can imagine what it would do to you when people are like, if I'm just too short to do it. I'm like, well, there's this chick who's one of the best in the world, voted the best defender on the planet, who's 5'6". I think you can do it.
Yeah.
There's an example.
Yeah, and I do hope people are inspired by that and are like, heck yeah, all right, I'm gonna keep playing, or I want to go play in college now. That. Right. That means a lot.
Have you ever been tempted to use it as a crutch, just throughout your life? Because I'm sure there were times where you're like, damn it, being 6'4" would be awfully nice right now.
There are definitely times I'm like, man, if only I was an inch taller, I would have had that. Or even me, I think we all joke, I am very proportional. I didn't get lucky. I don't have
right.
Long arms or anything like that.
Right.
I am true 5'6" and everything. So yeah, are there times where I'm like, oh man, if only my arm was a little longer. But at the end of the day, I do think it adds a fun little storyline to it of
sure.
Oh yeah, she's doing all this and she's 5'6". So yes, I joke I would change it, but at the end of the day, probably not. I think I would keep the height.
Yep. Yeah.
I did offer her some height in exchange for some athleticism that she has.
I said
and
no.
she wouldn't do it. So no, I don't feel bad for her.
Yes, that's fair.
Well, I think a lot of people conflate explosiveness and athleticism together. Whereas I look at athleticism as, give me a ball, a bat, a court, and a week, and I'll be pretty good at that sport. Yeah. I think that's athleticism versus jumping high and running fast is more explosiveness. I think you're a remarkable athlete because you're so coordinated. And especially, it's not even caveat at 6'4". It's you're so coordinated and you're 6'4". Because like you said, you've been playing beach for 6 years? 5? 4 years?
Whoa.
January
That's
of 2019.
insane.
But I didn't actually start training until 2 years after. So 2020.
Right, because you got the COVID weirdness.
Yeah.
And then even 2021, you guys were winning all those AVP Next golds. Was that 21 or 22?
21 was
21.
the first Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So within a year, you were beating all of the semi-pro, lower main draw level players. So I think if you're saying I'll use some of your athleticism, I think you have quite the bounty.
And she doesn't give herself credit because she definitely could go play basketball. If she tried, she could be good at baseball or softball. I know you're gonna say no, but you really do. She doesn't give herself credit in being an athlete, because that's how I define athleticism too. Just different sports. Go say play tennis or something, you pick it up in a week.
Okay, here's the thing. I'm playing with her. So it's annoying to lose all the time. She's like, why don't you want to go play tennis? And I'm like, because I don't feel like losing again. And then she makes it, she dumbs it down. I'm like, no, if you're going to beat me, beat me. But I don't want to lose today. It's not fun to go lose all the time. And then you don't like playing board games or the things I like to do because you suck at them. And I beat you. And so she won't play.
Valid. Fair.
That's fair.
You guys make my heart happy. Have you guys, like there's even with all your success and how well you guys get along, I feel like you've had to have had hard conversations, and I feel like those hard conversations have had to have sort of paved the way to a lot of your success. But what does that look like between you two? Because I've only ever seen you two be like the best of friends.
Yeah.
I feel like we actually, there's like times on the court where we have like silent fights, which is like a weird thing to say.
Do you
Like,
know-
how do
No,
you,
that makes sense.
You know what I'm... Do you guys know what I'm talking
Just
about?
body
What we're
language
talking about?
fights.
Or
Yeah.
it's just like... You literally want to kill the other person, and you're like, but we're playing together, so...
Right.
but like no words are spoken, like nothing is
Yeah.
said. And I think it's just, we have had like difficult conversations of like in a random hotel room across the world, where it's just like, all right, no, we gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
Like how do we make us better? Like, what do I need to do for you? But I think the best thing about us is that at the end of the day, we just know so much that like she only wants the best for me and I want the best for her. It's never like just me. It's like, it's not an I thing. It's like, how can we get better? And when you know that 100% that is what the other person is doing, that's when you can like have those conversations, I think, and it be authentic and real and grow. Because we definitely normally, after we have one of those, literally Doha, for instance,
Doha.
it leads to very good things.
That was one of my least favorite conversations with her ever. It was so scary. It was not scary. I think it was just like both of us were very on edge, and neither one of us was very happy, and we weren't playing well, and everything seemed to be crumbling at the wrong time. And that is just really not a fun conversation. But I would say another big thing is I don't have to worry that she's going to, you know how they talk about in like marriage counseling, it's like, oh, we're never going to bring up divorce. We're going to fix the problem, but it's never going to be like threatening divorce. I'm never going to be like, Kristen, I'm going to break up with you. And I don't have to have that worry, and she doesn't have to have that worry that I'm looking for somebody else, that I want somebody else. And it's just like, no, we're in this together. And the only way we're going to figure it out is by listening to each other and working it out together.
The only way out is through type deal.
Yeah, and if we're gonna fail, we're gonna fail together.
Yeah.
We're not gonna. You're gonna fail, and I'm gonna bail, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The conversation must have worked because Doha worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
What'd you say right after our conversation? What'd you write?
Oh, I went on my iPad and I said we're gonna be World Tour 2023 champions. Literally after that conversation happened, and then it happened.
Whoa.
It was wild though. After we, Doha, that whole trip was just, oh my gosh, it was wild. There
That
were
was
so
Bender,
many,
right? I mean,
so
you guys
many.
were on the road for a minute.
Yeah, because we went straight from Brazil. Oh, we had a little vacation in between. We did hit.
We went
Were you at
We did
Madrid?
hit Madrid for
Yeah.
some
Hey.
fun
So
vacation,
fun.
and it was that's I think maybe
Best
my like
decision.
favorite city now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it was funny after we won the game against the Netherlands, and I texted you, and I was like, "Did we come out of pool?" And after I sent that text, I was in the lobby. My phone hit the ground, slid, went down the elevator shaft.
Whoa.
I was like,
That tiny little crack.
literally went all the, and like I just sat there for a minute, and it was so funny because Mole and Storm were like in the lobby too with their coach and physio and everything, and they saw the whole thing happen. They were like, "Was that your phone?" Yes. And the front desk people all like came over, and I was like, my phone went down there, and they were like shining flashlights, and I heard it like it didn't like immediately hit something. I was like, no, it like definitely fell, and it's on like a bottom floor somewhere. And they were like trying to shine flashlights and find it. I'm like, no, it's like it's down
Yeah,
there.
someone's
Like,
got to get in the
yeah.
shaft.
And so they actually, and my phone was already shattered
Because
I didn't have a case on it
because
because I liked it without a case.
it's your
So
fault.
it was already a little shattered, and they came and brought it to me, and it was definitely a little more shattered. Like the back, we were down to the core. We were at the core of the phone, but it still worked. And I was able to get your text, being like, "Yo, you guys got through," and I was like, "What? No way!" She was getting a drug
I was
test
at a
at the
drug
time.
test.
I was like,
had
"Taryn, you're
no
never gonna
service.
believe what just happened."
So I was just sitting there. I was like, was that good enough? Was the game good enough? Did we get enough points? I don't know what was happening. And then nothing would work in that stupid little room that I had to sit in for forever because there was a line of girls trying to do a drug test. And I get back, and Kristen's like, I got a funny story for you. I come into dinner. She's like, look. It was was just a shattered show.
That's so funny.
She goes, but great news. We made it out of pool.
Yeah. And I learned there's eSIMs. Had no idea. Because they brought
Yeah.
my phone and the, like, SIM card part was out. And I was like, oh, my goodness, there's no SIM card. Like, what the heck? I immediately, I texted my mom somehow. And I was like, cancel the SIM card, like, whatever. And she was like, no, AT&T, it's like, there's an eSIM. So you're good. I was like, oh, my gosh, this is amazing. And my phone fell down the elevator shaft, and it still works. We're good.
That's so funny. What a day.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
one
Luckily,
of the
we won.
That would have been so sad if we would have lost, like, been done, and then my phone would have fell down the elevator shaft. That just would have been icing on the cake.
That'd have been a tough confluence of events.
Yeah.
And it would have been tough to read your iPad note and been like,
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
little premature.
Yeah, right.
Delete.
But how, like, on the court, because it's not like you guys came out and you were playing the best volleyball I've ever seen you play. I remember watching, because your next match was it Brandy Mel? Your first rounder?
Yeah, the first round.
Because I was watching that one. I was like, there's still like a B minus, C plus, Kristen and Taryn. But it was enough to win like 16 and 17 against a team that I think is one of the best defensive teams in the world, and one of the best teams in the world. I think that's got to be so helpful for the confidence to know that you can be on your C plus game and beat Mel and Brandy in two with a relatively comfortable margin.
Yeah, it was kind of wild. They definitely helped us out because they hit a lot of balls out, so that
We hit a
helped
lot of
us.
balls out.
But yeah,
who could hit one less ball out of bounds.
Yeah. But no, it is like kind of how I was saying, just the confidence side and the mental side. I feel like that has 100% helped, like, again, knowing that we can compete with all of these teams, and we have like a right to walk in and be confident. That has been nice.
And you guys mentioned goal setting at the beginning of the year. What does that process look like? Where do you guys come up with the goals? Is that you set your goals, Kristen sets her goals, Drew has his, you kind of come together, or is it you do it collaboratively?
We actually spent a whole month apart. Well, it was like 3 weeks, but during Christmas, and we kind of made it like a homework thing for both of us to kind of go back through 2023, get our thoughts down on paper so that we could talk about them, and then set our own personal goals for the team, and then we collab. And we shockingly have the same exact goals.
Yeah.
Nearly identical goals. And then if she forgets something, I usually have something to add, and if I forget something, she does. So yeah, we do it apart, and then we collab on.
And the collab is the final, like, product of what you decide
Yep.
your goal is. Because you can keep your individual goals, and like, that's a team goal, these are individuals, but at the end of the day, it's a team sport, right?
We don't have any individual
I
goals.
like that.
Yeah. It's all
I never thought about
together.
that. Yeah, we don't have a single one.
Love it.
Do you bring process goals with results-oriented goals too, or is it just results and then Drew's like, all right, here's the process to get us there?
Gosh, that man's a genius.
Yeah. But it's honestly, Drew doesn't know what our goals are. I mean, he knows
Yeah.
But he's not a part of what we think our goals should be, or what our goals are. And then, he kind of just goes about making us try and be great.
It is really impressive, all of the things that he sees or does. And then we got the usage of the volleyball data, whatever, that huge database with all the information. And he's like, oh, we're going to do X, Y, and Z data volley. It is literally what he said to work on were our weaknesses without having to watch millions of hours of film and actually having it tracked by somebody else. He already knows. It's unbelievable.
He is beach data in his head.
I'm not even joking. Wow. He is. And then we were actually in the gym, and he puts together our workouts. This is insane. I was doing a depth drop, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, this is the highest depth drop I've ever done. And Kristen's like, let's go higher. And I was like, do you understand? You're like half of my height and weight. So no, I am not going any higher. And then he did the calculation.
We were talking about the force, like, hitting the ground.
I was like, I'm catching so much more than you are.
Right.
And she was like, oh, let's go higher. And Drew was like, yeah, that's about. And then he's like, and how much do you weigh? And just like to calculate it. and he spit out some number. He's like, it's roughly
It was like 1,100
1,100
pounds.
pounds of force.
Hitting the ground. He did it in under 30 seconds. And then he showed us, he like tried to Google what like a whiteboard would look like if someone tried to solve that
Like
equation.
longhand.
And it was, like the whiteboard was like this with just like information. And he did it in under 30 seconds. And we were like, did you like mentally like see all that in your head? And he was like, yeah.
The beautiful mind. He beautiful minded it. Just
And
numbers
he
started
literally,
popping
it was
up.
just like, what?
Jeez.
Like,
He's unbelievable.
yeah.
Can
it
my
was
coach
wild.
do that?
Oh yeah.
I'm a words guy, man.
He does it with letters. His letters just come together beautifully.
I can write a story in,
We'll stick with
in
that.
15 minutes.
Right.
That is impressive.
You really
That
can.
is very impressive.
I love reading everything that you write.
See,
It's so
I'm
fun.
trying to figure out how that translates over to me winning volleyball.
Not
Were
gonna
you
calculate
always a
your-
writer,
fun.
like even when you were younger?
Always. Yeah.
Do you ever sit down and be like, oh man, I gotta write another article?
No, it's a lot. It's funny because there will be like off season. I feel like my brain is like too full because I don't write enough. I'm like, I need to like
It's an offloading
write.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
And where I get like pent up if I can't write. And so like during the off season, you'll notice that the stories I write are like 6
Longer?
times as long.
Yeah.
And my editor's like, dude, you're doing some good writing. It's like, it's pent up. I gotta get it
Wow,
out.
that's cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some writers, like they view, like every writer I read about, they're like, oh, it's just such torture. Like you got to sit down and make yourself write. I'm like, I wake up and I cannot wait to write. I just get so excited to do
That
it.
is so cool.
Yeah, because everywhere I go, like when I'm walking, like, the stories are being written in my head, and then when I get to the computer, it's just like I just offload it and then it's done.
Do you struggle to sleep because you have like so
Oh,
many?
I'm terrible. Yeah. And
Som
now-
sleep.
Yeah, I can't sleep.
Did you try Som sleep?
Yes, I did. I got a whole thing of it. But now, even if I were to have Som sleep, Austin goes right through it. He's like, "Oh, try melatonin, I dare you." But yeah, like,
Dang.
because now I tell Try, like Austin, he'll wake up at like 3:30 or 4,
Yeah.
and a lot of times, like, then the brain starts going, and there's no turning back for me.
Yeah.
Dang.
So I
What
guess
do you
7
ca-
p.m.
do you
bedtime.
caffeine it?
Oh yeah,
Or, yeah.
I have like pretty much an IV, just straight to the veins.
Nice.
But you guys have a hell of a story. Being in New Orleans, many variables, but being the only team in New Orleans training with teenagers. And even when you're out here, I saw you training with Sarah Wood, who's, I mean, she does not play like a high schooler.
Yeah.
And she has proven she can play as a professional.
Oh yeah, Sarah and Alexa are
So
they're-
good.
They
Who
have
was her partner?
very bright futures.
You better watch out. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's going to be something wild.
Yeah.
Because I like take pride in trying to identify players from as far down the strand as I can. And I was like, all right, that's Kristen Taryn. I recognize that high line from 2 miles away. And I was like, that looked maybe Sarah Wood. And I didn't know her partner, her Alexa. What's her last name?
Fernandez?
Yeah.
Okay. But
Yeah, they're gonna. Alexa's going to UCLA, and then I think Sarah's still too young and hasn't decided yet.
you know, wherever she wants to go.
Which
Yeah.
is insane.
They'll
Yeah,
have her.
she'll just choose.
No, very bright futures for those two,
Yeah.
and they're also just super cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
But I think you guys have completely rewritten the narrative that you need to be here. You come here for a month to enjoy the rain. You don't get that in New Orleans. But like, has that been? It obviously hasn't been too big of a challenge. But has that been a challenge at all, or have you guys just like you've been fine, just like Drew?
Oh, being out
Works through
there?
it? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we never have to worry about a court. Everything's always set up. I really like the consistency that we have in Louisiana. Yeah, the weather, the rain, it gets hot, but I think all of those are also beneficial. But I kind of like it, and I love being away from beach volleyball. Kind of has not like a lot of drama, but a lot of news, and it's always
Yeah.
circulating, and we don't worry or think or do anything with it.
Yeah.
Like, we know nothing. We always know nothing.
I think that's a great
It's-
way to be.
It's funny that you say like rewrite the narrative because that's always been something. Even I think before, like when I was like I want to play professionally, and probably before we even like talked about playing together, I always said like would love to like just rewrite the script of beach volleyball. And also the short card comes into that. But I was like, I want to rewrite the script. Like you don't have to be in California.
Right.
You you can just stay and train wherever you want. You don't have to be training constantly with the top people, like, and just our game may look a little different. But it's really funny that you say that, because she always rolls her eyes, because I did say, like, at the beginning, I was like, I want to rewrite the script. And yeah, I feel like we've sort of accomplished that in a way.
You're good at manifesting stuff. When you write stuff, you gotta let me know what you're writing down. If you're gonna write down who's gonna win the Super Bowl, I'll go to Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know.
Does it? Do you guys like? Does the monotony of training ever get to you? Or because I love talking to. We just went to Michael Gervais, the sports psychologist, and we were talking about how, like, when you're doing what you're really passionate about doing, even the monotonous stuff isn't boring, because you're so jacked up, like, just to pass 30 balls and, like, make the really small tweak. And we had John Mayer in the other day, and I was like, isn't the paperwork and overhead of, like, NCAA and athletic directors? He's like, no, I love that stuff because I'm building a program. Do you guys ever get bored with the tedium of not having a lot of high-level teams to play against, just to mix it up?
No. Well, actually, so to your point of like the monotony of it, I just found out because I asked her, like, are there days where you're just like, man, I don't want to go to practice? And she's like, oh yeah. And I was like, wow, I thought it was just me. I had no idea that other people did not just like want to practice every single day all the time, because I do feel like volleyball is, it's all over my Explore page. It's all over everything that I'm usually thinking about. We're always talking about it. And sometimes you want to just get away from it. But overall, no, I will do a passing drill for 3 hours because I want to change that small thing. Because I know it's going to make me better. And it's also because I know that I trust Drew. And whatever Drew is telling me to do, I mean, he's been right thus far. So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah, I would say, like she said, sometimes, like, getting there, it's like, oh, man, like,
getting going.
Whew, yeah, the body's really not feeling it today. Or just like, gosh, I don't really want to go. But once you're, like, there, then it is like, oh, no. Like, yeah, if we're going to pass this whole practice, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, here we go. So
and
that
then you make
part,
little competitions with yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's the worst part? Warming up. I hate warming up.
Talk to your boy.
Tournaments, games, practices.
Yeah.
That's why
I go deep with it. Or I used to.
Louisiana,
I'm trying to
when it's
figure
so
it out.
hot, you just walk out on the court and you're warm.
That's
and I'm
nice.
Like,
You don't even have to warm up.
I was like legit tired today at practice, and then I came back. I was like, I don't know if I sweat. 'Cause it was so cold and windy the whole time. I was like, I didn't even sweat out here. Like, I never got warm. I was just uncomfortable the entire time.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother aspect of enjoying every rep kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. Does playing in the mornings when it's, like, cold, do you just, like, hate it?
Yeah, pretty much. I want to say no because I don't want that to be the reality. But, yeah. And I have problems with the cold. Like, my hands are numb not numb, but, like,
does, like, hitting the
can't
ball,
really
like,
feel
hurt?
them. Yeah, it hurts the hands more.
Casa especially. Yeah.
Oh
And then you
my
feel like you're
gosh.
playing at a lower level. You're like, I'm playing at 80%, and it's just like,
Yep.
it's kind of lame that I'm doing this over and over, and now the sets are blowing every time, and I don't know. I think that monotony part of it gets to me, where I'm like, I could pass a million balls. Just put the cart there and let me just pass into it. Like, that's so fun for me. It's like, well, now my hands are cold and it's raining and the wind's blowing and this is happening and that's happening, and I'm supposed to beat these guys, but I don't really care about beating them today. I just want to pass into a cart and see if I can do that a million times. So that's the monotony part that I'm dealing with at this point in my career. It is kind of funny, though, that the fundamentals, the simple fundamentals of, like, me getting that feeling that I like,
It's still fun.
that's the thing I'm always chasing. The whole, like, competing all the time, and, like, you know, I used to, like, want to kick everyone's ass. Like, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to beat your ass. And I'm like, what's another win? Or whatever, you know, another, which isn't good. Like, I want to, I don't know, play with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it is more healthy to really, like, enjoy the fundamentals and, like, your own inner game than to always be looking external.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. I'm playing with it right now. I feel like a rookie veteran right now.
It's a good place
like
to be.
yeah.
Beginner's mindset.
Yeah, that's what I was
Hope so.
going to say. That's really good.
I hope. Yeah,
We're all
sure.
on board.
Yeah,
I'm all
Perfect.
in.
fully support.
Listen, I'm just studying your guys' stuff.
Oh,
Well, every
man.
time that you guys have a mic in front of you, you make sure, like, Drew Hamilton, you get so much credit. Now, what makes Drew? I
Nobody
love
can
Drew.
have it.
You get to keep him. What makes him so special? Because I love Drew, and every time I get to spend time with him, it's a great experience. But I've never like gotten to watch him work with you guys, except for I think me and Tim practiced with you guys once last year or 2 years ago or something, and that was really it. But I'm curious what makes him such a special coach and human being for you guys especially.
Me, I am an overthinker, and he simplifies everything to one sentence or one thing that I did wrong or two things that we did wrong, and that's why we lost the game. And for me, that is the easiest thing for me to digest, get over, and work towards. That's why he simplifies everything.
I think it's when we decided we went to him, the two of us together, and we were like, we want to be great. And he was like, okay. And now ever since then, like, everything is just like, there's a purpose for everything that we don't even know, but the amount that he just like thinks about how to make us great and just the time that he puts into that is just mind-blowing to me. And I think that is what makes him so great, is just his ability to like pour everything in to making like our dream come true. Like, that part of it is just like, oh my gosh, like, so wild just how much he cares about us fulfilling our dreams. It's like insane.
I think that's a special element of your team as a whole, in that you have full buy-in from Drew, but you also have full buy-in from, it seems, the community in Louisiana. I mean, you're rocking the New Orleans hat right there. And you guys did like a Christmas thing at Coconut. You raised what?
Sand in the
You raised
sand.
what, like 20 grand?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me more about that. What was that?
So we reach out to Kenner's. If you guys have been to Coconut, that's in Kenner. So the Kenner Community Center, and we reach out to a contact there, and she sifts through all of these families that she sees in the community center, and she gives us 3 to 4 families, and she's like, they are trying so hard, but this and this happened to them, or they have these kids and they can't support them, but they're really trying. Those are the families that they get sent to us, and then we come up with or they send us their Christmas
like
wish list.
Yeah.
And these kids are not asking for anything other than clothes and toothbrush and food, like comforters, carpets.
Yeah, they asked for like carpets for their rooms. I'm like, what
Oh my
kid
gosh, I
as
cry
a
every
like
time.
as like literally if someone is like, tell me what you want
Right.
for Christmas, is like, no, I just want like a rug for my room or like
Right.
sheets.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, so this past year it was our 3rd year of doing it, and we definitely raised the most. We like tripled what we.
Yeah, the first year was 5,000.
Yeah, and it's literally just it's like a fun family-filled day. There's a cornhole tournament, there's
Nice.
a co-ed quads tournament, different divisions. But yeah, we would love to just keep it. It's literally already set,
Heck yeah.
December 14th this year.
Like, we want people to
and
fly, and we want
Yeah.
people to play, and
We just want to keep it
enjoy
growing and just literally. It also brings just the Louisiana community together because it is just a fun day of everyone to come out. And we get to see all the people who have been following us throughout the year, like they get to come out. But yeah, just giving back to the community and just spending time with them, I think is something we both really enjoy, and we would love to just keep seeing it grow.
It's like
Heck
a
yeah.
perfect way to end the season, too. It's like a full season wrap. It's usually around Kristen's birthday, and then we get to celebrate your birthday a little bit, and then see everybody before Christmas.
That's epic.
And it's cool that you guys, like, you're giving back to the community that gives you quite a bit
So
of
much.
love and support. It's like you guys you're like a professional sports team. You know what I mean? Especially because like in the South, the communities, they rally around. I mean, you're like not all that different from the Saints and the Pels.
Yeah.
Like, you're a professional sports team that a city roots for.
Yeah.
That's
And then,
sweet.
honestly, the amount of people with the new AVP league, they were like, what? Like, New Orleans isn't a a city? We're like,
Push for
yeah,
it, people.
I know.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
After the ball
hopefully in the
flew
future.
away, I don't know if that's
But no, it is really cool, and I think that is something that sets us apart from other people, like when we go to these tournaments, because it is like a team they can cheer for that literally all of like basically the South can cheer for, whereas if you're like in California, it's like, what team am I gonna
Right.
root for?
100%.
So yeah, that definitely is why we have a lot of followers, I think.
And where can your followers get some TK
Oh, yeah.
gear?
At our
TK
website.
merch.
Yeah, tcanvolleyball.com.
Okay.
Yeah, we may have some fun new things happening though too. So,
Yeah, are we allowed to talk
Be in
about the new logo on
Yeah.
your shirts?
Slunks.
Slunks it is.
Apparel sponsor for the year.
Sweet.
It hasn't, we haven't like posted anything about it, but word's out, I guess, now.
I feel like Chris will do such a fun job with just the colors. Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
I'm so
Yep.
excited. And they're like, oh, you get creative input. And I'm like, yes, that is so much fun for me. I love naming things. I love doing designs, colors. But it's all
It
in
is
my
impressive.
head. And I have dreams. And then as soon as I wake up from the dream, I like have to say it. I don't know how to explain it any
Yeah.
better than that, but it doesn't make sense. And I just have to like try and find words, but I can't get it out. And I also can't draw. So it's really, really frustrating for me, you know? It's like I have so many thoughts, but I can't speak.
Yeah,
Don't you wish you could like take a pic, like a screenshot of
my
a dream?
Yeah,
that would be cool. But no, we definitely,
I'm very excited.
teaser, have a lot of fun things coming out that we
Heck
can't
yeah.
say. But a lot of fun things happening. We're
Love
excited.
that.
You guys do such a uniquely good job of branding, and whether that was intentional or just something that happened as almost like a byproduct of being such a unique team, rewriting the narrative. Wanted to commend you for that. Just like starting your own podcast, and maybe it was just like, hey, Anthony reached out, and our families would enjoy this. But I think it's so great to have in a sport where there isn't a whole lot of it, and you guys,
Yeah.
like, do you? It's mostly about your travels, right?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
even all that much, and I think that's awesome.
But
I mean, that's kind
I
of all
think
we
That's
do.
what people want to hear.
Yeah, but I also think something we foresee and we talk about, like, we want TKN to become something else beyond like volleyball when we finish. Like, I don't know what, but we do put a lot of focus on branding because we do think it could be something more than just our career kind of
So
thing.
many ideas.
Yeah.
And I think it can be. Like at certain points throughout my career, I wasn't seeing anyone doing this kind of stuff, and I was like, I don't know if it's even possible. Like they'd be doing it if it was possible, but then like one step at a time, just trying things and going for it. But it can turn into, I mean, stuff like this, and I'm seeing things like come to life now, where I'm throwing out ideas, and I'm like, these aren't just ideas anymore. Like me and we're down to like make stuff happen now, and it's only been doing it for. With the pod for 6 years, I guess it's a while, but like these things can come to life. And you guys are what, third year on World Tour and already got these charities going and branding and all that. Like it's having a huge impact because you're also showing other people like, oh, I can make a living within the sport, and as players now we have an impact rather than sitting there and just being like, come on AVP, like
Their
make me a
next
bunch of money.
tournament, yeah.
Oh, prize money sucks again. You know, it's like whatever. Schedule's gonna be whatever it is. It shifts the power kind of back into the players' hands. Like we get to create our own lifestyles and our own success, not just relying on us winning on the court. And I think it's the key to like the success of our sport in the way that we all talk about it and want it to be. So good job. Just the beginning.
It is wild. Like,
I still,
when you say like, oh yeah, this will be the third year, this coming year.
I was counting in my head. I was like, wow, 1, 2. Yeah, I guess it is third year.
Oh my god.
Third year going on 12. It probably feels
That-
like sometimes.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, our first Coolangatta, our future tournament was April of 2021, right? 2022. Yeah.
I remember that with my buddy Jake McNeil, and he's like, yo, who are these American chicks everyone's talking about? They're supposed to be the real deal. I was like, oh, it's these two over here. And he's like, the short one? He's like, no way, bro.
Jake.
And I was like, buddy, just wait. It was like, just wait. And then, bam, gold medal. Like, and you guys just, like,
Yeah, that was
meteoric.
Wild.
Has it settled in that you guys are going to be Olympians?
No. Not at all. We actually talked about that the other day. Like, I don't know at what point it will. Like, I don't know. It's also in the back of our heads. It's like we're so far away, and it's like one of us could get hurt. Like,
5 months is a long time.
Yeah.
A lot of competitions, a lot of training, a lot of things. Yeah. I mean, it's the reality of it. And Kristen and I were talking about it, and you kind of go through, worst case scenario and what's going to happen and what you're going to do. And I overthink. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, but if this and this and this, and Kristen looks at me and she goes, everything's going to happen exactly as it should. And she's right.
Yeah.
This is why she's the rock of the team.
It might not sink in for like a year after or something.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about Olympian is it's lifelong. So you don't have to worry about it. It's like, oh, when's that? Sorry. Got a little cough. You don't have to worry about when it's going to hit kind of thing. You know, it's like, it's a lifelong thing. So you just let it settle in whenever it wants to.
Yeah.
Be present.
Let it settle when it wants to. Yeah, I think being present has been a big key thing that we're just like, hey, we're at this tournament or we're at this place. We want to be here, but we can't even think about that yet. We still have 5 months or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Did it, like, it hasn't sunk in that you're going to be Olympians, but when did you know that it was pretty locked?
Last weekend.
Literally last weekend.
When we found out that the World Tour Finals was a slot, so we had filled our 12 slots. And we were like, wait, what?
That exact moment.
We legit
That's
could
really
say
funny.
we qualified, and it was like, what? That was wild. I also think it sort of, when we had a little meeting with just USA Volleyball, and they showed a little PowerPoint of just what things will look like there, and it was with Drew and us, and we got in the car after, and we all just sat there. We were like, what just happened? We're like, did it just get real? It got real.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably those literally in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What a cool moment just to have that. And like you said, still weird things can happen, but we're not going to put that out into the universe.
Yeah. It's also so funny because since then, in the past couple days, Drew will just randomly be like, y'all qualified for the Olympics. We're just
Yeah.
he's like, good job.
Exactly what nice work. Let's go to practice.
I love that.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Now, does that at all change how you approach a season? Because now, you don't, last year, you had to be ready to peak in Doha in February, and then you had to be ready to peak and peak and peak and peak and sustain that peak for 10 months. This year, you have to peak in July, right? So does that, have you guys talked about, is that going to shift the way you prepare?
Drew Hamilton.
Just
No,
put it in
it'll
Drew's
definitely
hands.
be, it's nice to know that we can, if
Oh, no,
a
but
little-
I was
if, like, a
saying,
little
the process of, when we're going to peak or, our workouts or our
Yeah.
training and that kind of thing, he's going to do that really well.
but as far as, it's nice to know, we don't have to go play in, every single event, and we can have, a rough schedule, but if, say, something happens or just, oh, my butt, something, an injury or something is just,
You're like, oh, I don't want to go for this.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of nice to just kind of have in, the back pocket of, no, we don't have to play in this tournament.
Mm-hmm. That's
But it's
awesome to
also
know.
it's also wild because we obviously have never done this, so it's is there a right way of going about how to do it? Because I feel like everyone does it so differently.
That's why I'm beginning to think there is no right way, especially because every single partnership and every single athlete and every single team is just so different. And it's oh, they did this, this, and this. Who cares? Because that could not work for you. So I don't think we can base it on any prior knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's kind of okay that we don't know anything because nobody actually knows what's going to work or not.
Yeah.
I know that when we had when I worked with Carrie in 1440 for a while, I talked to her a lot about this, and Misty, and what they would do is actually what you guys somewhat accidentally just did. Is they just front loaded it, got their finishes, built their lead, so then that they could, if they needed to rest, they rested. And I think it is extra special what you guys have done, that you've clinched it this early in the most competitive American women's field ever.
Yeah.
When you think about it, because last year
competitive.
the last quad came down to the last tournament.
Yeah, that's
it came
wild.
down to Ostrava, and I was looking at it like, wow, this is the best the American women have ever been from top to team 50, and you guys clinched it with like
Right.
7 months to go. That's unbelievable.
It's wild. But that was actually advice we had gotten about, like, you want to lock it up as soon as possible. Like, literally go play and everything. And that is what we did. And thank goodness.
No one told me that. My third Olympics. Third, whatever, quad. Fourth? Is it?
I mean, you went
Third,
for
sorry.
Rio, Tokyo, and
Can't
this one.
remember. Yeah, okay.
Casual.
I like to get right to Ostrava, and they're like, you got to win the tournament or else you're
You
out.
work well under pressure.
do it.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I didn't do it last time.
Well,
But then I got it, and anyway. I backdoored it.
hey, everything happens for a reason.
Just the way it should.
Yeah.
Well, where can everyone follow you guys from? Either social, your team, your merch, your podcast. You guys you're getting the full
Everything
cycle?
is
Everything
can be found on our website, which is
Okay.
tknvball.com.
Okay.
And that has like our YouTube channel, which there will be some vlogs coming, but I have to edit them.
Lots of people are wondering where the vlogs are.
I know I have to edit them. But yeah, that has literally everything. It has our social medias on it. So yeah, hit us up there. And we also have a little contact us spot. Like, you can shoot us an email. We definitely
We read them.
respond.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming on your annual podcast.
Thank you for having us.
I
As soon
know.
as I got a message from you after practice, I was like, Travis might want to talk to us. SANDCAST.
I'm so curious what it's going to be like next year.
I know. It's man.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can add some hardware to the pile here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That would be nice.
It's always fun to do a
Yes.
podcast with metal around your neck.
Ooh,
I
that'd be
wouldn't
nice.
know, but yes.
That'd be
That'd be
fun.
nice.
Yes.
Actually, the Paris medals did come out today. They look
Did you
pretty
see them?
nice.
No. Amazing.
Just
They
dream
look pretty
about it.
nice.
They're beautiful.
And then draw them. Draw them for us.
Yeah.
Love
But
that.
Draw.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Heck
Thank
yeah.
you guys.
Pleasure.
Have a good rest of training camp, and I'll be commentating plenty.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
Oh, yeah.
See you there.
Can't wait.
Shoots.